Modern blockchain platforms have several significant drawbacks, manifesting themselves in problems with scaling and low productivity. We present to you the revolutionary Relictum blockchain. It is a decentralized platform of the new generation with distributed storage, 100% reliable, and secure electronic data turnover system. This blockchain platform is designed to formalize and keep records of any events in various spheres of human activity, for the public sector, for the banking system, for private business, as well as for individuals. Relictum blockchain is a scalable, hyper-modern solution with a vision of the distant future, the blockchain of a new generation with the broadest application in various fields. Relictum blockchain opens up a new generation of blockchain 5.0 with clear, distinctive features and advantages. Network bandwidth, more than 1 million transactions per second. The result showed in testnet is 100,000 transactions per second. The size of a single block is 120 bytes, which is 8,000 times smaller than the size of a Bitcoin block. The time to fill the entire network with blocks at each node is from 0.5 to 1 second. Security, reliability, and stability of the network are provided by isolation from the general segment of the Internet, where we use a new type of network, Hypernet, as a transport network. The amount of possible new embedded smart contacts is unlimited in number and time. There is the possibility to integrate third-party accounting systems and documentation into our platform, solving the problems of existing platforms and having the most advanced parameters. Relictum blockchain can solve problems on a global economic scale, making our life simpler, more comfortable, and safe, making processes transparent and honest.
Всем добрый вечер.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Сегодня у нас
Good
с вами
evening. And
очередной вебинар.
today is
Я
another day
представлю,
for a
зовут меня
webinar.
Николай.
I will introduce
По
my
идее,
name
мы
is
планировали
Nikolai.
провести сегодня
We
вебинар с моей
planned to
коллегой
have
Ксенией,
a webinar
но
together
по
with my
некоторым
colleague
техническим
Ksenia, but
причинам,
for
к
some
сожалению
technical
или к
issues,
счастью, скажем
unfortunately
так,
or fortunately,
буду вести его я.
I will be the one to
Давайте
host
начнем,
it today.
как
So
обычно, скажем
let's us
так,
begin
некое представление
with a
маленькое для
quick,
тех,
a
кто с нами
short, brief
впервые.
introduction
То
for
есть
those of you who
сегодня
joined
пойдет
us for the
речь
first time. We will be
о
talking
самом
today
передовом
about
блокчейне, как мы
the
его
most
называем, пятого
breakthrough
поколения,
blockchain 5.0
который называется Relictum Pro.
under the name of
В
Relictum
чем
Pro. Now,
принципиальная его
what,
особенность и
how is
преимущество,
it
я вам
different
расскажу
and
через
what is its
нескольких
advantages?
словах.
I will tell you in
Это
a few
проблемы рынка, с
minutes.
которыми,
These
в
are the
принципе,
problems
мы
of
с вами
the
знакомы.
market
Это
that
энергозатратность,
we know.
тот же
It's
самый биткоин, он
energy
потребляет
consumption.
столько
Bitcoin
электроэнергии,
consumes so much
как
electric energy,
Республика Чехия.
like the
Чтобы было
Republic,
понимание.
like the Czech Republic, just so
Второй
that you know.
момент – это высокие
The
стоимости
second
транзакций.
moment is the high
Для
transaction
кого не
price.
секрет,
So it isn't a
что
secret
транзакции
that
в сети
transaction
биткоина
inside the
сегодняшний
Bitcoin
день, именно
blockchain
сегодня они уже приблизились к стоимости
are
транзакций
close to the
конца 2017 года.
price of the transaction of the end of 2017.
Далее это
So
производительность.
then the next one is efficiency and throughput.
Каждый из нас
So
знает, что
again,
иногда
each one of us
транзакцию
knows
можно
that the
ждать 1
transactions
час, 10
can
минут,
be
2
expected
часа,
for
двое
1
суток.
hour,
То
2
есть
hours,
сети
few
бывают
days.
загружены, и по большей
So
части,
the
чем
network can be
больше
overloaded, and
загруженность
the
сети,
higher the
тем
load on the
выше
network
комиссия
is, then the
сети,
higher the
потому что
commission
это
from the
работает на
blockchain
руку
is,
самим
because
майнерам.
that actually helps the
Далее, что
miners.
касательно безопасности. В нашем случае
Now, in terms
полностью
of
исключено
security,
понятие атака
we
51
completely
по той простой причине, что
excluded
алгоритм
something
консенсуса
that's
у
called
нас
the
построен
attack
абсолютно
51,
другим
because the
образом.
consensus
В
is
нашем
built in
случае это
a
цари и
completely
генералы.
different way. For in our
И
case,
помимо того,
it's
что
our
есть
kings
цари
and general nodes.
и генералы
And
в
in
сети,
addition to
мы
having the
выбираем
kings and general
царя
nodes, we
случайным
appoint a
образом,
king
получая
in a random way, and
получая
This gives us a random number using the sensor of Relictum light. And in terms of scaling, you probably know that our devices work on all operating systems, including Linux, including consoles, Windows starting from 8.1 and Android operating system starting from 4.1 and up. And this is the Mac OS operating system. And here I have one little note. The thing is that today our developers have provided the users with an updated Node version for Mac OS notebooks and specifically for the Big Sur operating system. So those of you who have updated to the new operating system, you, after the webinar, can log into the website, into your account, and download the updated application and to install it onto your computer. Now, this is whatever relates to all other operating system and scaling, and everybody knows that we have a highest transaction speed, specifically 100,000 transactions per second. To test it, this is what we can do. And today, actually, each one of us, each investor, each blockchain participant, each token holder had a royalty payout. And I want to show you how 1,000 transactions happened in 1 second. So somebody has been cooperating with the blockchain. Let me go into a different web page. I wanted just to share what is 1,000 transactions per second. All right, each one of us has received a royalty in the RLC token. And if you look at it, each transaction has 3 o'clock a.m. and 3 seconds. Yes, the transactions, they have a delay of 1,000th of a second, but for users, we round it up to a second. Without millisecond, we're not fanatical about that. Now, let's talk about attack 51. As you and I spoke, each one block is one transaction. So no attack, no double expenditure can happen here in a definition. The transaction cost, as we know, is 0. This information I am sharing just for new people that have joined us. The second thing, it can be installed on any operating systems. This is the smart contract system. It's a dynamic smart contract. And all of those things you will be able to see and feel and try in the second, in the beginning of the third quarter. And just briefly, what the developers are working on right now. This is for those people at the webinar, it's going to be an insight. The company right now is working on reincarnating our exchange. We are refactoring the code, and as a result, this will mean for the users a much more user-friendly interface. And as you and I love, it's going to be market deals, limit orders, and at the same year, we are creating the possibility to list or to add any single token that is released in this system. I'm not going to give you the name of the other blockchain, but this function isn't novel. It has been implemented with other developers. So we have also planned to implement the function allowing each user who created a token just to take his token to an exchange, listed in an exchange. We will have to work through the process in much more details, how to list it on an exchange, but these are details. Now, what else I would like to share? Every year, every day, the number of users of our ecosystem of the quickest blockchain grows. Today, we have about 160 countries. We have people from all religious confession, of all languages, and of all continents. Over the last 30 days, the application webpage in Google Market has been visited by, if I'm correct, from 73 or 78 countries. So the feedback is very good, but we are always open for feedback. We will always be happy to feel your problems, to hear your problems, the ones that you face, and some things that you may not be liking at this moment. In terms of a Relictum Pro blockchain areas of applications, as you know, that this is mostly B2B, so this would be implementing any kind of project and integration into any business, starting from oil and gas and all the way to the gaming industry, including logistics, medicine, insurance, finances, and banking. Absolutely everywhere, wherever the blockchain is in demand and wherever it is necessary, the Relictum Pro blockchain is ready to replace any other inconvenient tool, so to say. Now, what is this application comprised from? At this stage, we have an exchange. We offer wallets for three cryptocurrencies like Coin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. We also offer a secret chat. The encoding principle is similar to Telegram. The encoding type is called Diffie-Hellman. You can Google this in Wikipedia. So it's a very, very interesting encryption tool. So I'll explain how this happens. This is an end-to-end encoding, meaning that when you go into a chat, for you to connect with whoever else, you just need to give your colleague and the person that you're talking to your ID identifier and your unique password, which changes every single time. So nobody can intercept your communication. And unlike Telegram, not us, not anybody else will never, ever store this kind of information. So as you know, you may open Telegram on any device and it's synchronized and you have access to all of the content that you had available on another device. In our case, it doesn't work like that. So as soon as you leave the chat, your chat stops existing. So when you are going to log in the next time, it's not going to exist. You will have new IDs and you are entering your password again. So the next one is the decentralized data storage. It is called Relictum Digital Safe. This product, Relictum product, we spoke of on our last webinar. Moreover, we have many convenience services. One of them is a payment gate, Relictum payment gate, which I will definitely talk about in one of the upcoming webinars. It's a gaming zone, it's a gaming area, and it is an opportunity to use absolutely any kind of cryptocurrencies. Right now, we have Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. You can enclose it. For example, you can enclose BTC in our BTC and freely move Bitcoins without commissions to any person, anytime that you want to inside the blockchain, the Relictum Pro blockchain. As soon as you have enough of transferring or trading Bitcoins, you can always, within 1 second, so exchange it for a real Bitcoin and use it as needed.
И все-таки давайте приблизимся
And let's look closer at our current topic. Today, we want to talk about a tool that is called the Explorer. Let me just... So we'll talk about the Explorer tool. So it may be the block explorer. We call it the Explorer just to keep it simple. So the most important thing.
Одну секундочку, пожалуйста. Я прошу прощения. Так, начнем мы с вами
so let's start
с самого верха экрана. Начнем
from the
мы с
top
вами
of the
с верхнего левого
screen,
угла.
from the top left corner.
Основная вкладка Explorer,
It's the main Explorer tab, which is called Statistics.
Вот, какая информация у нас
So what
здесь
kind
с вами
of
есть?
information is
Значит,
available to us here?
Следуйте.
Let's start with
В данном
currency.
случае речь
In this
идет о
particular case, we're
стоимости
talking about the cost of the
генезис токена. Это
Genesis
стоимость
token
генезис токена.
cryptocurrencies. This is the
Дальше
cost of
мы
the
идем.
crypto
Это
token.
общий объем
This is the total
перемещений
volume
генезис токена.
of
То есть,
Genesis
скажем
token
так, это
transaction.
совокупная
So this is the
сумма всех
cumulative
транзакций,
amount
если
of
можно
all
так
of the
говорить.
transactions, if you can say
Далее,
that. The
это
next thing
общий объем
is the total
этих же
volume
совокупных
of
транзакций,
these cumulative
выраженных
transactions
в долларовом
in
эквиваленте.
US dollars.
Далее, это количество транзакций
This
непосредственно
is the
генезис
number of
токена.
transactions
То
of
есть
Genesis
в
tokens.
данные
So
2787
in
транзакций
those
входит
2,787 transactions, we have export operations, import operations of your tokens from your account into your node. And if you are sending these tokens, then the transaction is also recorded here. 543 is the node count that run on Windows operating system. Next is the current price of RLC. So this is the total volume of trades and deals in Relict coins and in dollars. And the number of transactions. I would like to focus here, Gabe, that the users may say, well, what do you mean? It says 69,335 transactions and there you're showing only 60,779. Why? Well, because the data in this chart is updated once a day. So you see the data that we have as per yesterday. And 5,808 is the number of accounts that are registered in the Relictum Pro blockchain starting from day one. Next, let's take a look at this. That's another thing that's worth focusing on. By default, we're using the main network, but we also have the test blockchain network where each one of you can also... If you look at this, there are more than 100,000 transactions in the test network. There in the test network, you have absolutely identical Explorer, and it also reflects information which takes place in the test network. You can issue your own token there, you can issue 20 of your own tokens, you can play catch, you can use the exchange, you can use Relictum Digital Save, so it is built as any other network like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. Each one of them have their own testing network. For example, Bitcoin has testnet, and in case with Ethereum, they also have their own test network. Another important moment, here we have a search bar, and you may search by address of the sender or receiver. So you can put in the address of your wallet in Relictum Pro. And or you can use the hash to search. So immediately, let's just try it right now. So we will copy the address
Так, сейчас, одну секундочку. Так, вот мы возьмем, скопируем.
So we will copy an address, a sender's address,
вставим его в окно поиска,
paste it in the search window, and
получаем информацию,
we
которую
have
мы
an
искали. Вот мы
information that
видим
we
с
were
вами
looking
вот этот
for.
адрес.
So we see this particular address
И,
there.
соответственно, также вы
And
можете выполнить поиск по
so you can
хэшу
look
транзакции.
under
Вот я
the
также
transaction
копирую
hash,
хэш
so I
транзакции,
can copy the transaction hash,
вставляю его в окно
paste
поиска
it
и
in my search
получаю
bar,
информацию о
and we get
транзакции, то есть
information
видя
about the
отправитель,
transaction,
получатель,
looking who the sender and the receiver is, the
номер
hash,
блока,
and
таймстемп
the
или
block number,
временная отметка.
timestamp,
И
and
данные от кого, кому
from
и
who
в
to
принципе
who
сумма.
and the amount.
Как вы поняли, вот здесь вот снизу, здесь информация
As you
следующего
understand,
характера.
here
Это
we have the
confirmed transactions,
information.
это
These are transaction
подтвержденные
confirmed,
транзакции.
the
И здесь
confirmed transactions and
подтвержденные
the
блоки.
blocks that have been confirmed in the blockchain.
Идем с вами дальше. Далее мы переходим с вами во вкладку транзакции. Вот, ну,
Then we
судя
will
по
look at the
названию, данная
transaction
вкладка
tab. Of course,
содержит
this
информацию
tab
относительно
contains
транзакций,
information
которые
about the
происходили
transactions that have
в
been
сети
taken place
Relictum Pro.
in
Мы
the
с вами
Relictum Pro
вернемся на наш
blockchain.
основной
We'll go back to our
основную сеть.
main network.
Вот. Что по транзакции? Какие здесь
Now,
мы
in
с вами
terms of the
можем
transactions,
увидеть?
what
Какую информацию? То
information
есть это
can we see here?
таймстемп, это
It's a
дата
timestamp, it's a date
совершения событий,
when
то есть
this
отправки
transaction has
транзакции.
taken place, when the
Это
transaction
номер
was sent.
блока,
This
это
is
хэш
the number of
транзакции,
block, this
это
is the
валюта
transaction
токена,
hash,
в
this is
которой
the
была
token currency
произведена
that the
транзакция, ну и,
transaction took
соответственно,
place in, and
сумма
the amount.
транзакций. Вот как мы с вами видим, кто-то
So
усердно
as we can see,
просто
somebody
работает с
is
битком и уже
working
более
really
100
strongly with
транзакций.
Bitcoin,
Я
performing
обратил
more
ваше
than 100
внимание,
transactions. This is something that I want to focus your
вот.
attention on.
Кто-то прям
So
сегодня
somebody
тестит
today
у нас
was
биткоин,
testing
кто-то что-то
Bitcoin,
делает, вообще
Bitcoin, and
прелесть.
Bitcoin again. This is
Вот, в
nice.
принципе, это
So
информация, которая
overall,
по
this is the
большому счету,
information
ну,
that
основная, которая волнует
is
пользователя,
primary
это
and that is
какая
important
сумма,
for the
либо там
users.
найти
What is the
транзакцию.
amount? How can I find
Вся
the
эта информация
transactions? All of those
находится
things
в
are
Explorer.
stored and
Помимо
they're
этого,
available in the
последние 10
Explorer. And
транзакций
overall, the
каждой
last 10
криптовалюты
transactions of each
у вас будут
cryptocurrency
находиться
will be
внутри приложения.
inside
То
the
есть вот здесь
application.
вот
So right here,
вы видите последние
you see
по 10 транзакций в той или иной
10
криптовалюте. Ну,
transactions in
впоследствии
each
вы видите все
cryptocurrency.
как-то поудобнее. Вот, идемте с вами дальше.
So let's move on
Перейдем во
and
вкладку аккаунты.
look at the
Значит,
account
здесь
tab.
будет очень много
There's
информации.
going to be a
Она
lot of
будет
information
интересная
there. It's going
и
to be
не
very
очень, но тем не
interesting,
менее
maybe
я
not
обязательно
always,
вас
but
познакомлю
absolutely I have to
со всеми
introduce you to this
возможностями и
information and all the
функционалом
possibilities and the
нашей
functions
экосистемы и
of
проводника в
this
частности.
system and
В
the
общем, вкладка
Explorer.
аккаунты. Здесь
So
мы
the
видим с вами
account tab,
какую
I
информацию?
can see what kind of
Информация
information.
о
This
вновь
is the
созданных
information
аккаунтах.
about the newly
То
created
есть это
accounts.
все аккаунты,
These
которые
are
были
all of the
созданы в
accounts that
системе
have
Relictum
been
Pro,
created in the
начиная
Relictum Pro system, starting
с первой
from
даты запуска
the first
mainnet,
date
даты с
of
1 июня
launch.
2020
So
года.
from June 1st,
Вот если вы
2020.
обратите внимание, каждый зарегистрированный вновь
So
пользователь
each user, each
заносится
newly
сюда.
registered user
Вот
is
если мы с
recorded in
вами
here.
глянем, вот ради
And if you
интереса,
and I decide to take a
вот
look,
вы видите, что
so you can
за
see that
2 недели у нас
over the 2 weeks,
зарегистрировалось 100
we have
новых человек.
registered
И
100
как вы
new
видите,
users.
каждый день люди все
And
приходят и
daily, people are
приходят.
coming and coming and coming and
Идемте
coming and
дальше с
joining,
вами.
which is great. Let's move on.
Это вкладка Account
Now, the
Detail,
next one
то
is the
есть это
account's
детали аккаунтов.
details. These are the details
Здесь
of the
более
accounts.
детальная информация
They have a
уже
more
также о
detailed
каждом
information
зарегистрированном
about
пользователе,
each
а
user who
именно
has
хэш
registered. So
события
there is a hash of the
регистрации
event, of the
пользователя.
registration event.
Обратите внимание, я потом вернусь ко всем этим моментам
I will talk about
и
these
еще
moments in
раз
a bit more
проговорю.
detail. Just please
Значит,
remember
это
them for
хэш
now.
события.
So
То
it's
есть, когда
the
вы
event
зарегистрировались
hash
в
where
блокчейне,
you register in a
вся
blockchain.
информация
All of
о
the information
об этом
about
событии
this event
записывается в
is
отдельную
recorded
цепь,
in a
которая у нас
separate
называется
chain,
аккаунт детейл.
which is
То
called
есть
account
в
details.
вашей ноде
So in your node, there is this number 26 chains, right? Now, if you decide to open the networks, if you open mainnet data, you will see 26 blockchains or 26 chains, yeah? And everything that I'm sharing with you is in each of those nodes available for each one of you. Now, account details. It's a hash, it's the date of registration of a new user. We see an account ID. This is a unique account identifier, which is given to the user. And here also, please focus about the ID. Now, what is an ID? ID gives an opportunity to a user to send whichever cryptocurrency that has been emitted on the Relictum Pro blockchain. So you can send Relictum LTC, you can send a Genesis token, you can send a Relic coin, you can send a Relictum BTC by only specifying the ID of the recipient. This is what it looks like. So I look at transaction, I give a number, and I send a token. Once out, it's gone. So the transaction has just taken place, and the token has been sent. And of course, in the same way, you can send a enclosed BTC just by specifying the user ID that you want to send it to. So he's complaining, I wanted to transfer money to myself, but I can do that. Yeah, impossible. But we're gonna send one Satoshi to somebody. So you give an ID, and you just send it. That's it. Gone. Now going back to our Explorer, and the last graph that we have is an email. As you and I know, you can enter absolutely any value in this field. The most important condition is for you to wear the mask, meaning a word, at, another word, dot. So you can do success at everyday.day or at every.day, and your email is going to be confirmed. Moving on, this is the tab, account keys tab. Now, this is very important information, but you're probably not going to use it, but I have to tell you what this is. So when a user registers in like as a new user, so you and I, the last account that has been registered yesterday is 5808. Okay? So it has been registered just recently. And here we see the same thing. We see the account ID 5808. What does that mean? When a person creates or registers in Relictum Pro and creates his own account, the first thing that he's offered by the system is to save his private key. As soon as the system offers him to do that to us, to users, immediately an event is recorded and a private key is generated. Now, this is the hash of the event, which is called new user registration. This is the public key, and the private key is stored with the user. Now, the next. Which other information is available here? Say 2665. Okay, he has registered, not yesterday, he's registered a longer time ago because his ID is 2665, and now the normal one is 5800. I am going to tell you, when you import or transfer your data from one device to another, for that purpose, you need to import a key. First, you need to export a key, and then you need to import it. I'll give you my example, 22 ID, that's me. I'll show you.
Вот, это мой идентификатор.
This is my ID, 22.
Вчера я перенес свою ноду
Yesterday, I transferred my node from my mobile phone, from my cell phone, to my PC.
В процессе переноса
In the
я
process,
сначала сделал
I
экспорт
have first
приватного ключа, а
exported
потом
my
сделал его
private key
импорт.
and then
Когда я
imported
импортировал
my
на
private
другое
key. When I
устройство,
imported my private key
система
into
мне
another device,
предложила
the system offered
сохранить
me
новый
to
приватный
save
ключ,
new private
и
key,
информация об
and
этом
the
событии
information about this
записывается
event is
именно вот
recorded
здесь, то есть
in this particular
в
blockchain.
аккаунт кейс. Идемте дальше с вами.
Now let's move on.
Аккаунт
Account
адреса,
addresses.
да, адреса аккаунтов. Ну,
Account
по сути,
addresses.
данная
So
вкладка
this
отвечает,
tab
говорит сама за себя. Здесь
speaks for
вы
itself,
можете найти,
and
зная ID
knowing
пользователя,
an
вы
account
можете найти
ID,
его
you
адрес.
can match it with his
В
address.
самое ближайшее время мы вот в
The
этом
nearest
окне
time, in
поиска
the nearest time,
постараемся
in this
сделать
search bar, we will
поиск
try and give you
по
the opportunity
идентификатору. То есть сейчас вы можете
using
искать
account
по
ID as a
адресу,
search. Now you can
по
use an address
идентификатору
to
пока
perform the
не
search,
можете.
but you
Но в
cannot do it as
ближайшее
per
время
the
мы
ID. But
планируем
in the
реализовать
nearest
эту
time, we
возможность.
plan to realize that opportunity.
Так, давайте идем дальше. Также очень интересная вкладка, ну, на мой взгляд,
so another interesting tab
по той простой причине,
is
что, ну, когда пользователи сталкиваются с
when
какими-либо
users
проблемами,
see whichever
я
problem,
постоянно в первую очередь захожу
consistently
именно в эту вкладку
go
аккаунт
into this
sign in.
tab,
То есть,
account
другими
sign in.
словами, это
So
входы в
this
аккаунты.
is
Здесь мы с
the
вами
account
видим
sign-ins, and here
информацию,
we can find information
кто
who
и когда
and
вошел в
when
аккаунт.
logged
Вот
into the
делаем
account.
маленький эксперимент.
And let's do an
Я
experiment here.
закрываю ноду.
I'm going to close my node.
Я открываю ноду.
And I open up my node again.
Вот, то есть я зашел,
So
давайте
I've just
проверим,
logged in. Now let's take a look
записались ли данные
whether that data was recorded
о моем входе в блокчейн.
into the
Конкретно в
blockchain,
блокчейн.
just into the
Explorer, он
blockchain.
только
The
отображает то,
Explorer
что
only
происходит в
reflects
блокчейне.
whatever is going on in
Вот
the
видите,
blockchain. Right, here you
аккаунт
go.
ID 22
Account ID 22
вошел в 19 часов, то есть
logged in
прямо
at
сейчас.
19:30.
Вот хэш этого
This
события.
is the event hash.
И random key это
And
какие-то
random
технические
key. These are
формальности,
just
о
technical
которых я не буду говорить,
formalities that
потому
I
что не знаю.
will not
Но
deeply
эта
go into
информация
because I
для
don't
нас
know
с вами
them.
не
But this
несет
is an
никакой,
information, this information for
скажем
you and
так,
I
полезности.
is not
Далее,
really
статус
that
код 0.
useful.
В общем,
Now,
если вы вошли
the
правильно, у вас
status code
статус код
0.
0.
If you
Если
logged
у
in
вас
correctly,
не
then you have a status
получилось
code of
ввести
0.
правильно
If you
пароль,
failed to put in
я
your
также,
password
наверное, это
correctly,
продемонстрирую, у
and
вас
let me
будет
also
статус
demonstrate,
код
you will have
309.
a status code
Смотрите, я
309.
выбираю свой
So
аккаунт и
I
ввожу
select my
неправильный
account
пароль.
and I put in the wrong password.
Система мне пишет, что я ввел неверный
The
пароль.
system says that my password is incorrect. And
И проверим, что здесь у
let's
нас
take a look what's
произошло.
going on
Видите,
here.
да?
So you go.
Статус код
Status code
309
309
говорит о том, что
says
у меня
that
была
I
неудачная
had an
попытка
unsuccessful
входа.
login
Вот,
attempt.
поэтому сейчас мы
So for that
попробуем
reason,
все-таки войти
let's just
удачно.
try and log in successfully.
Вот мы с вами вошли, и, соответственно,
And
информация
so since we
об
logged
этом
in, and
событии записалась. Вот
the
аккаунт
record
ID
about this
22
event is
вошел
recorded on the
только что.
22 account
Вот хэш
ID,
этого
just logged
события,
in. This is the
статус
hash of
код
this
0.
event. Status
Идемте
code
дальше с вами.
is
Со сложными такими вкладками мы
with
закончили.
we are done
Далее
with
пойдут,
the
ну, скажем так, легенькие вкладки,
complex tabs. Now we're going to look at the easy tabs, simple ones that will have less information and more practical ability. Now, number one, tokens. The tokens tab. This tab describes the tokens that whenever were published in the Relictum Pro chain blockchain. There is service information, so this is the event hash. There is additional information, which I will show you. So first
Первая
one
информация, которая у нас есть по токену, это сам хэш
is
того
the
события,
hash
что
of the
кем-либо
event
был
that
создан токен.
somebody has
Давайте
created this
разберем на
token.
примере.
Now,
Значит,
let's look at the example. So the
31
first one,
декабря,
on December
вот в это
31st,
время
2020, at this
владелец
time,
аккаунта
the owner of
5207
5207
создал токен
created a token
второго типа.
of second
Сразу
type.
давайте
Let's
легкое
now
ликбез.
easily
Тип
understand that
токена
the
1
token
это
type
токен,
1
который
is
сгорает
a token that can be burned down, or
как минимум он форджится, ну и в этом
so it
случае
may
он
be
сгорает.
forged and in that way is
Тип
destroyed.
токена
Now the
2
second type
это токен,
token
который
is
не
the
сгорает,
token
который
that does
обладает
not disappear, that has
ограниченной
a
эмиссией, то есть
limited
поле
emission.
total supply.
So there
Ну вот если вы
it is
обратите
under the
внимание,
total
да,
supply thing. Now,
реликтум
so if you look
обертыши,
at
у них
this, so
total supply 0.
relictums
То есть,
that
когда вы обмениваете эфир, мы
enclosed
форжим вам
Ethereum or
эфир, когда вы
Litecoins,
в обратную
they don't have
сторону
an additional
выходите,
value.
мы
So
сжигаем токены. Вот, далее какая у нас информация? Это
now, what kind
полное
of information do we
название
have? Is the
токена,
full
ну,
name of the
например,
token,
Black Ball токен.
for example, the Black Ball
Вот, что-то
token.
похоже на игровое какое-то
So
название.
it's similar to gaming
Это короткое
name,
имя, либо,
but
как
it's a
принято
very
говорить,
short
тикер,
name or
BLB.
like a ticker.
Вот, и символ. Ну, вот это и есть больше
BLB
тикер,
and the
вот
symbol
это
and
вот
we have
имя,
a symbol and this is like the
вот,
shorter
здесь,
name.
смотрите, здесь цифра total supply, это
Now the number that
количество
we had is the
выпущенных
total
токенов.
supply, is the number of
Цифра
total
10
tokens
это
supplied. 10
количество
is
цифр
the
после
number
запятой.
of digits after the comma.
Вот. И дальше что? Ну, дальше
And
информация про
else?
процент
Then you have
баунти,
the
про
information about the
дату
bounty
начала
percentage,
продажи
if you can
токенов,
mind.
окончания,
Then
ну
you
и
got to talk
более
about the
подробная информация
other
о
side, when
стоимости
the end of the tokens coming to an
того
end,
или иного токена.
what the value
Вот.
is
Что
of
здесь у нас еще
whichever
есть? Вот
token
давайте
you.
разберем вот на примере,
That's
допустим, Genesis
another
токен.
look at the
Вот мы с
Genesis
вами
tokens.
знаем,
So
что их
you and I
выпущено
know
10
that they
миллиардов.
have
То есть
been
вот 10
emitted in the amount of 10
и еще
billion.
9 нулей. Вот мы
So
берем
this is
и 9
10,
нулей
and
считаем.
we need to count
3,
for
3.
9 more
А вот
zeros.
остальные нули,
And
которые
everything
остались,
else,
вот
all the other
7,
zeros,
это вот
which are
как раз
7,
7
are the
десятичных знаков после
7
запятой.
tenths
То есть на примере,
of
допустим, реликткоина у нас
7 tenths of the
10
dollar after the
знаков
decimal. So
после
for example,
запятой. Genesis
an
токена
example of a Relictum coin, you
7
get
знаков
10
после запятой.
decimals after the comma,
Вот,
and in
идемте с вами
Genesis,
дальше.
you get
Это
only 7.
вкладка Tokens Fee.
Now, the
Ну,
next one
здесь
is the
информация
tokens
о комиссии за транзакции,
tokens fee.
но так как у
This
нас
has
стоимость
information about
транзакции
transaction commissions, but
равна
since
нулю,
our transaction
поэтому и
commissions equal to
вкладка
0,
не отображает
the
абсолютно
tab doesn't
никакой
really have any information.
информации. Идем дальше. Токен Aunit.
Tokens owned.
Токен Aunit и токен Transfers, вот эти
And
две
token
вкладки, я не
transfers,
буду на них
I
заострять
will not
внимание. По
focus on
сути, они
significantly right now
передают
because
информацию всю ту
they
же, которая
convey
у
the
нас во
information
вкладке
which
транзакций.
we have in the
Но смотрите,
transactions
что
tab in the
передается в
token
цепочке
sections. But what
владельцу токенов, токенс
do we see in the token
Здесь
chain
мы видим с вами что?
owner
Здесь
information?
мы
What kind
видим
of information?
информацию,
So we
что
can
кто-то
see the
кому-то
information.
отправил
Somebody has sent somebody
какой-либо токен.
else a
Вот
token.
могу вам сказать, что
And
вот
I can
эта
tell you that
информация
this
аккаунта
information,
E23, это
which number
отправка
account it
мною
came
токена.
from, it's me
Кому-то я
sending a
отправил
token to
в режиме
someone.
трансляции один Genesis токена.
So one
Просто здесь
Genesis
эта
token during a
цифра
live. So
становится
today
в строку,
this number
22
goes
прибавляется
into a
1,
line,
получается
22
23.
gets added
В общем,
1, so
здесь
it becomes
для
23.
пользователя
So here
нужной
users,
информации, скажем так, в том объеме, в котором он хочет получить, нет смысла
not that
заходить.
much information
Вот, и
that
токен
he
трансфер,
desires to see. But
это в принципе все
token
то же
transfer
самое,
is
это
exactly the
перемещение
same.
токенов,
It's the transfer and
то есть
transition
смена
of
владельца.
tokens. So it's when
Идемте
the
дальше с
owner
вами.
changes.
Вкладка у
Next.
нас называется ноды,
The volume that we're looking at
на
is called
русском языке
nodes,
это узлы
or
сети.
nodes
Здесь
in
хранится
Russian.
информация о
And here
нодах,
we
и
store
на данный
information about
момент мы
nodes,
видим
and
с
as on
вами
today, we can
информацию
see
о
that there is
543
information about
нодах. Сразу
543
забегая вперед,
nodes.
скажу, что на самом
Moving
деле,
forward
как вы
and running
видели,
ahead,
аккаунтов
of
у нас
course, as you
более
have seen, we
5000.
have more than
Но в
5,000
данном
accounts,
разделе
but
пока
in this
отображаются
section, we are
только
only reflecting only
установленные ноды
the
на
nodes that are
операционной
installed
системе
on
Windows.
Windows
Когда мы
OS.
доработаем,
When
скажем так, вот
we
этот вот изъян, здесь вы увидите
complete this,
информацию уже
let's so-called fold,
абсолютно обо
but
всех
here
нодах
you can
и
see
о
information
их
about all the
операционных
nodes and
системах.
about their
Ну и
operating
также
systems.
вкладка
So
нод
the
update, то есть
nodes
обновление
update
сетевых
tab,
узлов.
this is when
Эта
the
вкладка
nodes have been
также
updated.
отвечает
Again,
за
it's a bit different
информацию по поводу
with the
обновления
information about the updates
нод
of
на
the
операционных
nodes
системах
on different
Windows.
on Windows operating
Вот,
systems.
смотрите, в самом
Now take a
ближайшем
look.
будущем
In the
мы
nearest future,
доработаем данный раздел таким образом,
we will update this section so that the user will be able to observe online the number of devices that are available to the network on the map of the world. We will see the map of the world, and there will be green, orange, and red dots that will tell us about the fact that this particular country right now has a user or a node online in a certain operating system.
Вот, идем дальше. Это вкладка Storages, то есть хранилище.
The next one is the storage
Что
tab.
здесь? Первое, что мы
What
здесь
does it
видим,
give us? The first thing that we see
общее
is
количество
the
узлов
total
сети,
number
которые
of
подключили
blockchain
и
nodes
сдали в аренду
that
свои
have
сервера
connected
для
and
хранения
rented their
информации
servers
Relictum
for
Digital Safe.
Relictum Digital Safe Storage. Right now, that's 283 network nodes have installed and activated the Relictum Digital Safe service.
Хранилище данных Relictum. Соответственно, эти
So
283
these 283 users
это именно те первопроходцы,
are
которые
those trailblazers
принимают уже
who are
сегодня, вчера,
partaking and taking part from the very first days.
Принимают файлы, загруженные пользователями.
They're getting the files that have been uploaded to the users into our distributed, decentralized safe.
Что еще? Здесь мы с вами видим также хэш события, то есть создание.
We see the event hash here, so when this was created.
Скажем так, когда пользователь создает
when
хранилище,
the user creates a storage and when he activates a smart contract, that's when it happens.
Еще информация? Здесь мы
What
видим
other information do we have? We have the ID
сетевого узла.
of the node. Here we see
идентификатор
the owner ID
аккаунта,
of the account that has created this,
хранилище, ну и название хранилища.
and the name
Далее
of
что?
the
Смотрите, еще есть
storage.
вкладочка Endpoint.
So we have another tab which is called Endpoint. Those users who have a white IP address, in the endpoint chart, they will have the IP address and the 47. What advantage do the white node holders have? First of all, is their throughput capacity, and B,
мы будем отдавать не мы, а система будет
not us,
отдавать
but the system will be giving preference when uploading the files to the users to the white nodes, because the white nodes would allow for higher transaction speeds and to receive and request information. What else do we have? We have the storage settings tab, and here we can see information in the same principle about the number of storages. We got 283 of them, and we can see that each storage has a certain ID. So you have your ID of your account. For example, your account is 52, and you have an ID that has been appointed to your storage, for example, 283. And this tab, in the size column, we can see of the amount of dedicated space in kilobytes. So how many kilobytes each user has dedicated for data storage? So as you understand, the users that offer their hard drives to store our information, they allow them to get profits up to $60 each year per terabyte of data. Now, moving on, this is the Files tab, and the Files tab describes and talks about the files that have been uploaded into the Relictum Digital Safe. In these chains, there is the file information. So as I said, including the hash, the file ID, the owner, and the file name, description of the file, file size, block size, and the file hash, the hash of the file itself. Now I'll come back to that information.
расскажу вам кое-что интересное, ну и
And I'll
покажу,
share
конечно.
something interesting and I will show you.
Смотрите, файл
So,
locate это
file locate
местоположение,
is
скажем так, или
the
местонахождение
location
файла.
of the
Вот
files.
смотрите, у
So,
нас
for
есть файл
example, if we have a
58,
file which is called
который был
58,
загружен,
that
ну вот
has
этот
been
файл, он у нас
uploaded,
последний, вот,
what's it, that's the
который
last
был
one. That
загружен
has been
пользователем
uploaded by
2716.
the user 2716.
Вот, и, соответственно, этот
So,
файл,
this
как я
file,
говорил уже,
as I
мы
have
говорили с
mentioned,
вами на прошлом вебинаре,
we have
файлы
spoke about
разбиваются
last
на
webinar.
сотни,
It
на
is broken
тысячи
down into
фрагментов,
hundreds of
и
thousands of
каждый
fragments,
фрагмент
and each
записывается
fragment
абсолютно
is
на
recorded
разный
in a completely
сетевой
different
узел, который
network
предоставил
node
хранилище.
that has
Вот мы
offered
с вами можем
itself
посмотреть,
for
что
storage.
файл с
Now,
идентификатором
the
58
file with the ID
был разбит,
58
как
has
минимум,
been
видите,
broken
да, на
down
100
into
частей.
at
Ну,
least
давайте еще
100
странички
pieces, but
глянем.
let's look at another
Вот,
page.
как мы видим с вами,
Okay,
практически на 200
almost
частей.
it has been broken down in
Вот, при
200
этом
pieces.
этот файл был
And this
раскинут
file
на
has been
следующие ноды.
distributed in
Нода
the
1,
following nodes:
нода
1,
2,
2,
188,
188,
196. То
196,
есть вы
95.
видите,
So
да?
you can
То есть
see
даже если кто-то
that if
захочет
somebody
получить
decides
достуp
to
к
have
вашему
access
файлу,
to your
например,
file
похитив чью-либо
by
ноду
stealing
с
somebody's
цифровым
node
сейфом, то,
with the
как
digital
правильно вы
safe on
заметили,
it, then
ни на
as you
одной
can
ноде
notice,
не
not a
будет
single
вашего
node
файла в
stores
полном
your file
размере, то
to
есть
100%
в том виде, в котором вы его
capacity. So
загрузили.
in the form or
На
shape that
каждой
you uploaded
отдельно
it.
взятой ноде
For each
будет
separate
только
node,
лишь
there will
фрагмент
only
вашего
be a
файла,
fragment
но
of
нигде не
your
будет
file, but
вашего файла
none of them will
целиком.
store your file
Показываю. Вот обратите
completely.
внимание.
Please
Вот
look at this
этот
and focus
фрагмент
on this. So this
с
fragment over
размером
here, with a
44
size of
тысячи килобайт. Ну, скорее
44,000
всего, здесь
kilobytes,
44
probably that's
380, это уже
44,380.
44
That's
килобайта,
44
а
kilobytes
не
exactly,
44 мегабайта.
not
То
44
есть тут
megabytes.
надпись должна быть байт.
So here it should say byte,
Буква К,
not
скорее всего,
kilobyte.
лишняя.
Yeah.
Вот смотрите, вот этот
So
фрагмент
this
файла
fragment
вот с
of the
таким
file
весом
with
попал
this
на
weight
вторую ноду,
is in node
а
2.
вот этот фрагмент
And this
файла на
fragment
первую ноду.
is in first node.
Вот, и таким образом мы
And
видим,
this
что
way
вот на
we
ноде
will see
2
that node
как
2
минимум вот есть один
has at
фрагмент этого
least one
файла,
fragment of this file,
второй
the
фрагмент
second
этого
fragment of
файла,
this file,
а другие фрагменты,
and
третий
the other
фрагмент
third
этого
fragment
файла.
of this file.
Ну, как мы с вами видим,
So as we can
информация
see, the
разбрасывается
information
на
is
абсолютно
distributed
большое
into an
количество нод, не
absolutely
менее
large
7
amount of
нод.
nodes, at
Вот.
least
И,
7
ну, если
nodes.
заморочиться, посчитать, в
And if we
принципе,
count these
эта
all,
информация
then this
доступна здесь,
information
каждый из
is
вас
actually
может
readily
глянуть.
available. If you
Потом мы
want
с
to
вами
do
в конце,
your
я
own
покажу
maths,
это
please
все
do.
наглядно.
Towards the end, I'll show you how it looks.
Идемте с вами дальше. Это вкладка
Next is the Notes tab.
Notes это у нас заметки.
Notes are
Значит,
notes,
что
right?
здесь
So
будет?
what we will
Вкладка
have here,
заметки на
the
данном
Notes
этапе у нас не
tab
активна,
right now is
но
inactive,
функционал уже
but
в
the
принципе реализован.
functionality is
Это будет
implemented.
что-то сродни
This will be
системы
something
коротких
similar
зашифрованных
to
сообщений
short
на
encrypted
блокчейне,
messages
чтобы
over
каждый из
blockchain,
нас с вами
so that each one
смог
of us
запечатлеть свое
could
жизненно важное
record
событие
our
в виде
important
файла,
situation in the form of a
загрузив его,
file,
ну, также в
upload it
Digital Safe.
into the
Либо
digital
это
safe,
какая-либо
or it
текстовое
may be some
сообщение,
kind of a
или
text
и файл,
message,
и текст,
or
вы
it can
все
be both a
вместе
file and a text
можете
all together.
загрузить в
You can
блокчейн
upload it
Relictum
into the
Pro
Relictum Pro blockchain
навсегда. И как
forever.
мы с вами
And
помним,
as you and
что
I
блокчейн
remember
помнит
that the
все.
blockchain
Те из
remembers
вас,
everything.
кто маломальски
Those of
следит
you who has been
за
looking and
информацией в
monitoring
сети интернет,
the internet
буквально вчера
information just
или
literally
позавчера
yesterday or the day before
какие-то майнеры
yesterday,
биткоина
some Bitcoin miners
что-то там
have
увековечили. Вот вы можете посмотреть,
have
в
recorded
интернете
something
также есть
forever. You can
сервисы,
look it up. There are services
которые
that
предлагают возможность
offer the opportunity
поиска скрытых
to
сообщений, допустим, в
find
блокчейне
hidden
биткоина. В
messages
нашем
in the
случае это
Bitcoin
также,
blockchain.
ну, пока мы это видим, как,
And
грубо говоря, ну, если так
we
можно
see it right
выразиться,
now, if we can
крипто-твиттер.
express like this. This
Вот
is like a
как-то
crypto
так это
Twitter,
будет
like a
выглядеть.
crypto Twitter.
Я
So this is
сейчас
going to look
наперед
something like
забегать не
that. I'm
буду.
not going to
Давайте
run
просто
ahead.
вместе дождемся
Let's
и увидим,
just
как
wait
этот
for it to
продукт
happen
будет выглядеть.
and see how this product is going to work out.
Далее у нас с вами
Next,
вкладка «Контракты». Здесь, по
we have
сути,
the contracts
информация
tab.
о
This
системных и выпущенных
includes the
смарт-контрактах
information about the
сети
system
Relictum Pro.
and the
Вот, как мы
Relictum
с вами
Pro
видим, на данный
published smart
момент
contracts.
их
As we
реализовано
can see,
ровно 10.
there are 10 of them
Вот, идем
exactly.
с вами дальше.
Now let's
Contract
go
results.
forward. Contract
Ну,
results.
здесь записывается
This
информация,
records information
которая
that all of the events that happen, that take place inside the smart contracts. Each event is recorded here, it's hashed, it has a record of time, it has the smart contract that was used, and the account ID that was working with the smart contract. In other words, if somebody, any one of us, inside the application is using a smart contract, so for example, game tokens or dice or something like that, then all information is stored right here. Now, please also make sure you see this, that the result information, this is a random list of numbers which has absolutely no meaning. This is basically doesn't have anything useful for the user. Now, next, everything is rather simple. This is the royalty tab. In this chain, we record any kind of information about all royalty payouts across all tokens that presume a payout of royalty under the smart contract, and you can see the amounts of royalty payouts that have been made. So asking the question, where do I see how much royalty has been totally paid out? This is your answer. Since both you and I know that today we had a royalty payout and we have a token ID listed at 4, so you and I can see that 843 Relict coin have been accrued, and all the other 10 numbers are everything that follows the comma. So today at night we had an accrual of $843.26. So 843,2.6 RLC. And in addition to that, you see that we have additional projects in the Relictum Pro ecosystem that are paying out royalties every day. So this is pretty cool. And you and I can see that the Relictum Pro royalty have been paid out 7 times, so I can't remember exactly, maybe 6 or 7 times, maybe more. And other projects have made payouts regularly, every day, accruing some kinds of profits. And moving on, the final chain, we have made it to the main chain. Quickly, let me just show some. To the main blockchain, to the main chain of the blockchain. It is called, it's called Master Chain. So I open it up so that you can at least imagine what it looks like. So what is Master Chain? Master Chain is the primary Relictum Pro blockchain. In this chain, it stores hashes of absolutely all events that have happened in the Relictum Pro blockchain. Now, what those events could have been. Number 1, this is user registration. The second one is import or export of a personal key. Third is a transaction. Fourth is enclosure transaction. Fifth is tokens creation. Sixth is storing the files in the storage. Seventh is installing Relictum digital safe. 8th, this is the execution of a smart contract. 9, royalty payout. So there is not a single event which hash is not stored in the master chain. Right now, I will show you on a simple example. When you upload a file, first, it's the file hash that's recorded, and then the event hash that's recorded. And all of this data is stored in this primary blockchain. Another important thing to consider, I'm almost coming to a conclusion right now. Where is all this data coming from? Well, the master chains, nodes, and tokens, and smart contracts, and storage, and transactions. It's very simple. When you install a node into any of your devices, you create a folder of networks and then MyNet, etc. All of the information information that I'm showing you, let me just show it to you again. So, under the address, well, everybody has their own. Let's see, I will show you an example on Windows. Each one of you has a node. If you, like I opened the Total Commander, if you open the data, you will see the chains. So if the Bitcoin blockchain has one chain, we have 26 chains. Now, let me focus your attention on that. When you sort them in size, the master chain is the biggest. As I have mentioned, it records the hashes of every single event. And right now, you can see that there has been an event right as you were watching, and it has, so there are some contract results, token transfers, and master chains. That means somebody is playing token here. So I can make a bet on that. Let's take a look at it. Somebody's playing coin, yeah? So how have I mentioned it? Someone sent... Somebody's playing a game, but it's not important right now. But any single event, all right, you see 1855 right now. So what am I trying to say? So while you and I are having this conversation, we see some events are happening in the network, and they are automatically recorded in the blockchain. So there are the haters that love to go into the chat and to say that you don't have a blockchain, you have some kind of a stupid story. I'm very sorry for those people. I do not want to spend my time on them and to try and explain to them anything. So every single time I'm trying to get it available to you. Every event that takes place, if you right now sends a token or each one of you does something, right here, I will have data that will be re-recorded. So, all information that I have spoke about today. See? Transactions. These are token transfers. Let me sort them by name right now. So transactions are token transfers. This is the token transfer chain. So the account, we have account details. Let's look at those tabs. This is the accounts and the accounts addresses and the details, keys, sign-on-tos, states, contracts, contract results. So every single bit of information that is stored in the Explorer of the Relictum Pro blockchain is sourced from using an API from absolutely any node. What we can see in Explorer, all of those things are seen in the node. While we speak, as you can see, somebody else is logging in, and just by leaving something online, and you can take a look that as soon as something happens, you see that there's another event that's happened. Account state, so the account state changed. So somebody logged out or logged in, probably. And there is a master chain record as well and the account state record. So, what does this mean? On all devices store identical information, like my node has, like the Explorer has, the Relictum Explorer stores. Absolutely everywhere we store exactly the same data, and it is obvious that the blockchain is working with under such a principle. Each one of you who has programming skills using the developments of our programmers and developers, the APIs that have been provided to them, each person may allocate all of and any information that they need on their website regarding the Relictum Pro blockchain. So you may create exactly the same Explorer on your own website, or you can organize it on your local host, whichever way is more convenient, and to receive exactly the same information, but in a more convenient convenient shape or form. And take a look at this. So while you and I are speaking, as you can see, every second the Relictum Pro blockchain has some kinds of events happening in it. And so I can even see somebody's coming in and that's it and getting out. Logged in, and a record has been made here and here and here in the state. So the account was offline, now it became online. Why do we need this data? Let me explain. As we have mentioned in our first webinar, we are going towards implementing our own consensus, our primary consensus in an updated form. So all this data is necessary to make this consensus work. So this is when, how long does this account exist? How long has it been in the network? How useful is it? What kind of hardware is it running? So all of the information is going to be taken out of this chains, and it will be used to, the system itself will dedicate, like identify ratings, kings and generals, so, and it will work in the way that we put it down in our white paper. What else? Overall, if you're not tired, I'd like to make a small presentation, literally a second long.
В общем, прям мелкую презентацию покажу.
A very, very quick presentation. I'll show you how the communication and cooperation takes place. So each one of you, so if you're running a node and you can have a token, you can send the token to me and we will have the record in the following chain. I will sort them by time. So what I want to show you, let me upload a file. So they are already uploaded here. So what can I show you? Let me send somebody else money. For example, I will take this. So who's the lucky number? 5324. 5324. One token. And the information is going to change in the token state, token. Let's see where. We send a token and bang. Let's sort them by name. So we sent at 20:01:57. Let's take a look. Let's verify this transaction. 20:01:57. One token, one GTN token. The master chain will also have this event recorded. In the tokens owned in the token transactions will have this record. Oh wait, that's online. Token transfer, yes. You can see one, and this is 7 decimals, so one token. And in master chain, as I showed you, the information is recorded. So just let's double check it here. So yes, all the same files have been updated on my node. And now I have shown and shared everything that I wanted to share. Another important thing, sometimes the user unknowingly creates a node and says, I cannot do this, I get this. So if you have noticed, I tried to open the second node. So right now I need to close this first node and check. Does everything work? Does everything is good? If after this, after you open up the second node, the node doesn't work, then you need to go over here and delete the .log file. So I just showed it to you. So now I will launch my node again.
В принципе, все. Вот смотрите, информация все время
So this is
записывается. То есть
information, it's
блокчейн
all
работает у
recorded, the
каждого из
blockchain
вас на
works, and
каждом
each one of
устройстве.
you on each
Если
device,
какое-либо событие
if
происходит
whichever
мгновенно,
events take place
и было бы
immediately,
очень здорово,
this is
вот
recorded,
те,
and it
кто
would
меня
be really
слушает, я
cool.
бы
Those
попросил
people who
даже,
are
может,
listening,
кого-то из
maybe I would
менеджеров,
ask some of
просто
the
если есть
managers
такая
that we have,
возможность,
if there is an opportunity,
отправить токен
to send a
мне,
token to me.
либо любой пользователь,
Any
отправьте мне
users, just
абсолютно
send
любой
me
токен,
any amount of
и
tokens,
я
any
его
small
вам
one.
верну.
I will refund
То
it
есть я
back to
же буду
you.
видеть
I'm going to
получателя,
see
отправителя,
the person who sent it to me, and you're going to send it
тот,
to
кто мне
me.
отправил,
So whoever sends it to me.
получается, отправителя. Вот, для чего я хотел это сделать?
Why
Я
do I want to
хотел
do that?
вам,
I
вот,
want
кто-то
to,
сейчас совершил транзакцию,
so somebody who has made
просто
a
я хотел
transaction right
показать
now,
вам,
I
что
wanted to show
действительно наш
you that
блокчейн
this
летает со скоростью
blockchain
света,
flies with the
и
speed
что
of light,
если я
and that
провел
if I
транзакцию,
make a
находясь в
transaction
Москве,
in
то
Moscow,
где-то там, в
then
Занзибаре,
somewhere
эта
in
информация
Zanzibar, this
также
information
появится
has already
ровно
been
в
updated
это же время, как у
immediately
меня,
in that
мгновенно.
same time.
Вот я не знаю, как это попробовать, у меня просто...
I don't know how to test it. If you wait and somebody does makes a transaction to me, I don't have a second node working.
Если кому интересно, вы можете,
But
находясь на разных материках,
being in
отправлять
different
друг другу
continents, you may
транзакции,
send
и
each
вся
other
информация
transactions,
будет
and all of this
мгновенно
information
записана,
will
и у вас будет
immediately be
все то же
recorded,
самое, как у меня.
offering you exactly the
Ну
same
и,
changes as you see
другими
on my
словами,
screen.
что можно
In other
сказать?
words, what
Что
else
вот
can be
здесь,
said?
когда
That
происходит
right
событие
here,
в
when an
Relictum
event
Pro,
happens in
когда
Relictum Pro,
происходит событие, мы же с
when
вами
any
видели,
event
да, как у меня
happens, we have
обновляется
seen
нод.
how
Вот,
my node has
смотрите, вот.
updated, right?
Опять произошло
So
событие.
there, something has happened. Somebody
Токен-трансфер,
has
кто-то
token
кому-то
transfer.
отправил
Somebody
токен.
send a
Давайте
token to
проверим.
somebody. Let's
Вау!
see. Let's
Мне
see. There we
пришел один
go.
токен.
Somebody sent me a
Было бы
token.
здорово, чтобы я
It
знал, из
would be
какой страны
cool. Which
отправитель,
country did it
из
come
какой
from,
страны.
and which
Ну, я
country?
предположу, что
I
между
will
нами
assume
есть
that
какое-либо
there
расстояние.
is
Давайте
a
попробуем
distance between
посмотреть,
us.
кто
Let's
же
take a look. Who was it?
осчастливил меня
Who
этим
made me
токеном,
happy
одним
with a
токеном.
token?
Это у нас был аккаунт.
And it was
Это аккаунт был
from
351.
account
Возвращаю ваш
351.
токен.
I'm sending
И
you that token
смотрите, что
back.
самое интересное.
And you know
Ну,
what's
вы,
cool?
наверное, я нахожусь в Москве,
So
вот
I'm
где
in
вы
Moscow,
находитесь,
and
знаю,
where I don't know where you
но
are, but
информация, ну,
information,
хотелось бы проверить, да, как
I
она
would like to
мгновенно
test it, like
происходит.
how
Так,
immediately it
какой я
gets
сказал?
updated. So what did it say?
351 аккаунт,
351,
один
right?
момент,
One moment.
я вам возвращаю
I am sending you
на ваш ID,
to your
351,
ID 351.
счастливчик, сделал 10 иксов только что.
Yeah, the person just
Вот, в
made
принципе,
10x.
это все, что я хотел вам показать. Как вы видите,
And this is what I
блокчейн
wanted
есть,
to
блокчейн можно
do.
пощупать,
You
можно
can try the
посмотреть.
blockchain, you can test the
Если есть
blockchain,
возможность, кто-то
you
на
can do
другом
all of those
материке,
things. If somebody's
скачайте
on
Total
another,
Commander,
if you're
он
in another
находится... Ну, кому нужен
continent, it's
Total
Total
Commander
Commander
и
who needs a
настройки
Total
с
Commander,
временем до
and the
секунд, прям
settings with
пишите
time and seconds, just
либо
text
в
me.
чат, я вам помогу, либо
In the
админы вам
chat,
помогут, но
or
это не
the
сложно,
admins will
это
help
за
you,
2
so it's not
минуты все
difficult.
делается.
It can be organized in 2
Вот,
minutes. Now,
рассказал о блокчейне,
I have talked
рассказал о
about the blockchain.
передвижении
I have talked
токенов.
about
Вот этот
moving tokens.
счастливчик,
So this
отправитель,
lucky
ну,
person
имеет довольно-таки
who
приличный баланс. И
just
как
has a
вы
good
видите, у
balance,
отправителя
and
есть не
the
только
sender
RLC, то есть
doesn't
у
only
него
have
есть
LC,
монеты.
he
Кстати,
has tokens.
переключаясь по
So
монетам,
now when
ну,
we
как вы
switch
понимаете,
across
вы
tokens,
получаете
you
информацию
get
о том или
information
ином
about
аккаунте,
a
количестве
certain
монет,
account and the
которые на нем
amount of
находятся.
tokens that he is holding.
Вот, в принципе, я
So
рассказал
I have
и
talked about
показал
those things. I
все,
have shown
что
most of the
хотелось.
things that I
Сейчас я
wanted to
перехожу
share.
к вопросам пользователей.
Now I will answer some questions from the users.
Так, привет из Мариэл.
Hello
всем
from
привет.
Marielle. Hello, hello,
Раз в
hello.
сети нет комиссии, то
So since there's no
злоумышленник может
commission in the
сделать бота,
network,
который
then a
начнет
person
делать
can build
1
a bot who
миллион
will be
или
sending
100
a million
миллионов
or 100
транзакций в
million
секунду,
transactions per
и все
second, and
ваши
all
ноды
our
повиснут, и
nodes
блокчейн
will
встанет.
be hanged down and the
Вот,
blockchain
защита
will
есть.
cease. Is there
Вот,
protection against
я
that
вам
kind
скажу
of an
так, что
attack?
у нас разработчики
I
довольно-таки
can say
грамотные, это
that our
первый момент.
developers are
Второй момент, у
smart,
нас разработчики,
and second, our
не все те,
developers
которые
are
вышли вчера с
not
института или
those that have
закончили там
like,
какое-либо
I don't know,
заведение.
graduated from
Да,
somewhere
у нас есть
yesterday.
защита
Yes,
и от
we
ботов,
have a
и
protection
от
from
DDoS
bots,
атак.
we have
Можете
protection from
попробовать,
DDoS attacks.
пишите
You can try
бота.
it. build a bot, try to drop the blockchain if you can. So you have all the opportunity to do that. You can try DDoS. We have already tested. We're going to be happy if somebody would try and DDoS us for free. And it would be cool to buy the GTN. And it's very hard to agree or not to agree. I will say that if there is an opportunity to exchange RLC to GTN, then in 2-3 minutes, there will be information on how about have an RLC right into the fiat countries. So we will have an exchange of tokens for a much better, it's an insight that I have right now, and I will just focus on it next time. So we have a question from English. Good day, thank you for presentation. My node is on my Android mobile phone. Do I have to have it always on? No. At this stage, you do not need to have it completely on. But as soon as we implement the consensus that we plan in Q2, consensus 2.0, that's what we call it, there will be a function implemented that gives you rating, and the longer you are in line, the more important it is. Right now, it is. And for those of you who has a Relictum digital safe, of course, they have to be always on, because if they will be off, then the profits is going to be close to zero. Tokens, yes. So you send the token. Well, Atabek, they're about 7,000 to 9,000 kilometers, if I believe. And how quickly does it happen? Well, no, I'm not a programmer. Thank you. Luckily enough, in the Russian chat, one user sent a screenshot of 90 RLS, has been royalty. I have 0.12. How do I get more? Do I need to have the node switched on? No. For that, all you need to do is to buy 900 more tokens. And when you buy 900 more tokens, even tomorrow, your royalty is not going to be $90, but 108. And you will be ahead of this champion. So you see, figure how this works. How is the token calculated? How's the royal accrual calculated? Let's just take a look at this. All right, so check it out. Royalty accrual. You and I go into the royalty tab. In the token, we see 843.2 and 10 symbols, right? You and I type in the account. You and I need to find the first account. It's not difficult to find. Here we'll write 581. And we will go to the page 581. What we need to do, we go into account details, and we have IDs. Here we type in 581, and we take, this is the information, so it's not clickable, unfortunately. So, on the first account, it's the Genesis account. It's the Genesis account that has created the Genesis tokens. Now let's see if we can do it. Yes, great, we can do it here. So we take the address of the first account. We paste it here. It complains because I copy pasted it with a space. While it's loading this information, we can see that the account won, and we need the GTN tab. Give it time to load, and the GTN tab. So today, the Relictum Pro blockchain, out of all the sold tokens, and over 427 million have been sold, As you can see,
примерно, да,
we have
75%,
about
то есть
75%
три
in the
токена из
blockchain,
четырех
so each
заведены.
3 out
Вот
of 4
смотрите, у
tokens
нас
are in
есть
there. Now,
общее количество
we have the
токенов.
total amount of tokens.
334,427,000
334,427,000
И у
rounded
нас
up.
есть с
And
вами роялти.
we have the
Роялти у нас
royalties,
с вами
and the
находится вот
royalty
здесь.
are in.
Вот, мы быстренько идем в Explorer.
Quickly go to the Explorer, and the
Вот, мы
royalty
берем
is
с
here.
вами цифру.
So
Вот
we take
эту
the
вот
amount
цифру
of
843, и вот это вот число.
840.26,
Да, давайте
etc.
сделаем.
Let's just do that.
Вот у нас есть цифра. Вот это вот.
So we have this
Какие-то там
number,
миллионы.
some millions and
Чего-то
millions
там,
and
да?
millions. Yeah.
Вот мы вставили эти миллионы.
So we take these millions.
Вот. И поделить.
And we divide by 843.
Я не буду вводить 10 цифр.
I'm not going to
Это
give you
каждый из
10
вас
numbers.
может
Each
сделать,
one of you may
если вы
do
прям
that.
настаиваете.
But if you insist,
Вот так.
write this.
Вот. Вот у нас с вами получилась цифра.
This gives
То
us
есть,
a number.
если посчитать,
So
нужно было
if we
сделать наоборот,
calculate,
обратную
but should have done it the other way around. So it's the $843
поделить на
divided by
337
million of tokens.
И вы получите сумму, которая получена была каждым токеном.
That has been received by each token holder. So if you have 100,000 tokens, or like I've been told today, there are 230,000 tokens, then you would get this particular amount, so 0.58 RLC. But be sure that I have made a very, very rough calculation. So this number is very, very relative, but it's very close to being true. So each one of you may calculate your royalty in any moment of day or night.
Так, как посмотреть? Так, тут слова благодарности. И вам спасибо, что нашли время. Как посмотреть игровые транзакции? Как понять, какая транзакция к какой игре относится? В общем, смотрите, показываю.
So, let's see.
Тут такая история. Сейчас. Секунду. В общем, мы переходим с вами во вкладку
So we go
Results.
into the Contract Results tab.
Вот. И вот здесь идентификатор аккаунта.
And we see a ID, contract ID.
Это ответ на вопрос.
This answers the questions, how do you find out?
Вот так. Как понять, какая транзакция,
how we find out which transaction relates to which game? There's no way to understand whether it goes to a game, a particular game, but you can understand which smart contract it relates to. For example, the coin flipper and the dice roller, they are in one smart contract. If a transaction takes place there, we can see and figure out which game has made that particular transaction by going into the contract results tab. Next.
Так, уже есть какая-то информация по
Is
поводу
there information about the new source of income that you spoke about on the roadmap webinar? We have some info and we will make it public in the shortest time, but I can tell you that we are preparing something. We prepare a lot of great cool things, but I am not in the position to disclose it yet. I have kind of let you know that it's going to be cool, but that's it. How do we find a transaction tether payment in the Explorer in the amount of 0.5 BTC? You won't find a 0.05 BTC transaction because you cannot have a zero from BTC. Now, everything relating to zero, its function, it's a function that has been implemented so that the user, it's not a zero transaction. I understand where this question is coming from. I'll explain. This is done so that every participant of the system would learn to communicate with the node. But if you buy for an amount which is less than the zero or different from a zero, so this is the transaction that's going to be recorded in the block. Are you going to be paying royalty only in RLC? Yes, right now we're paying the royalty in RLC, but changes are to come. Which way will the changes take place? That we will be paying in RLC and others. How do we find a token in Explorer that I have created myself? That's very easy. So you go into the Tokens tab. And if you create a token, there will be an information recorded here. For example, so I'm going into the StageNet. Quickly, let's just do something. So we will launch a node. So see, it complains that I have 2 nodes running. So I know. So I'm going to go into the nodes. I'm going to select testnet. I'm going to enter. I'll take an account. For instance, this one. I'll remember its password. I remember the password. So what I wanted to show you, how to create a token. So you can create a token in each form you want to. So for example, it costs you 20 RLC. What's its name? My first token. A symbol. MFT. Short name.
Напишем short name, да?
Yeah, just put down short name. All the rest of the data, I'm just gonna have an emission of 100 coins. The tokens, I will have 5 decimals. The bounty is $10 or... Oh yeah, the bounty, I didn't put a bounty. 15%, let's say. Something. Oh yes, the start and end date are wrong. Yes, the dates, start dates, end dates. Okay. So 20 RLC will be credited from your account. Fine. So you and I have paid for the story. Let's take a look. So let's start by order. A transaction took place in the amount of 20 RLC. And we see this information, right? 20 RLC. Now, what else has happened? And first of all, of course, we see the sign in and sign out. Let's take a look at the ID of my node. This is node 8767. Yes, this is me logging in. This is my payment. And tokens owned. This is the event hash. This is my ID. Added a token, and this is the hold amount. So this is with the amount that we have created. So as you remember, I said 5 decimals. So how many tokens we have? 15 or 150, something like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, 100. 100 MFT. And what else? So we have the tokens tab.
MyFS token
I see that MyFS token type 2. This says that the token has an emission. And this is the owner of the token. This is me. This is the name. This is the short name. This is the ticker. This is the total supply. Is 5 decimals and only 100 of those tokens. It seems real, right? Okay, good.
15 это bounty,
so 15 is the bounty, and then you have the information piece and some other service information. Let's move on. How is it different from SiaCoin and others? I have explained. Let me answer this one more time. The whole SiaCoin system, actually I haven't heard about them for quite a while now. I don't know why. The whole SiaCoin system is built not on fraud, but on the fact that there is a blockchain. And all the ecosystem comprises just one data storage. How does it work? I do not know, but I can tell you that the main difference of SiaCoin from us is we have the fastest blockchain, B, the transaction cost, and the C, SiaCoin is just a piece of the products that we have in our ecosystem. I can answer this question in no more detail for the reason
that when I will have the technical information on both on the first and the second product, I can objectively have an analysis. Of course, not at this time. So can I buy GTN from IRLC? No, right now that isn't possible, but it will be made possible in the nearest time. How do we find a token in the Explorer that I have created? Let me show you again. You go into the Tokens tab, and you see the token that you have created. In your case, it can be StageNet. In StageNet, when you register an account, you get 1,000 gifted RLC, and this 1,000 RLC, or is it? These are bitcoins. Yeah, Relic coins. So I have 200 left. You see, I'm spending 20 here. So you can test the tokens and any other kind of service, all the other kind of things in the StageNet. Which exchange is going to be listing at? It's going to be at a centralized exchange. Do any of the users will think that I will answer in any just like this? No, we will announce it, and every single one of you will know it. We will announce this in advance over email, all other forms, so we will always talk about that. How much did the network make to see how the royalty have grown over time? Very easy. We go into the royalty tab. We look for the necessary token ID. Let's go into mainnet royalty. So in our case, it's 4. It's token 4. If we open all of the transactions, we can calculate how much royalty has been accrued in the network in RLC. So you can see 1, number 4, 2, number 4, 3, number 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 9 royalty has been, the payouts of royalty has happened 9 times starting from September 1st. Another thing, dear users, keep focused that if we have some kind of a short delay, we definitely try to complete this. We have launched mainnet on July 1st, and in 19 days and a quarter, we have launched the payouts of royalty. With the next stage, took us the global situation and the pandemic slightly has slowed us down. They have made certain adjustments to our plans. As you understand, we have people working for us. People sometimes get sick, sometimes they don't. So in the existing situation, we have made certain adjustments, and we have slightly delayed the launch of a complete exchange, and we have slightly delayed the smart systems, the smart contract systems for users. And all of those things, as we have mentioned, we did that in our first webinar, and it has been indicated in our roadmap that everything that has not yet been completed, it shall be done this year. And moreover, we're going to go listed on an exchange, and we're going to have all the other beautiful things happening on the roadmap that we have spoken of numerous times. And if there are any questions,
Сейчас, одну секундочку. Так, далее. Ага, есть вопросы, я их не увидел. Секундочку. Далее. Увеличение количества монет в кошельке, в том числе объемники. Конечно, если вы прямо сейчас выпустите токен, то количество монет увеличится. Если вы захотите выплачивать роялти, то роялти вы получаете зависит от вас. Дальше. Чем децентрализованное хранилище лучше?
So how is a decentralized storage better than a centralized storage? And how is decentralization is better overall? Well, if you have been on today's webinar, in the beginning, I have talked about that, but any file that you upload into the Relictum Pro blockchain, it is segregated into hundreds or even thousands of pieces, depending on the size of it.
Есть файл. Вот, допустим, берем последний файл.
So let's take a look at the last file. We have 58 of them. Let's say this is the file number 58. So this is its size.
Вот, и вот смотрите, как я показывал, на какое количество кусков разбит этот файл и на разных сетевых устройствах. То есть, смотрите, кусочек вашего файла находится на ID 2, другой кусочек на 196, третий кусочек на другой месте. То есть, каждый фрагмент вашего файла is
distributed in a completely different device. In addition to that, as I have mentioned, you may additionally protect your file with a password. Not only is it encoded with your personal key, but moreover, you can buy another, you can install another password that will give you 3-factor authentication. Today, royalty has been much bigger than before. Why it's related to? Yeah, we are going to have more royalty being accrued, I can tell you. So, royalty grows only in the case when the blockchain performs some kind of user's events, meaning the blockchain has a gaming zone. It is charged, it's commission-based. There is the coin enclosure. There is a very minimum commission for that as well.
Royalty
grows only in the event that users do something in the blockchain network. So first of all, it's uploading files. Second, it is creating tokens. Third is commissions that is made under a smart contract. So over these 2 weeks, this is the amount that has taken place. Whether it grows or not depends on each one of you. If we understand that the blockchain is needed, then the profits will grow. If we sit and wait and ask, why is it not growing, why is it not happening, then nothing will probably happen. So the profit is generated, and everybody knows that the profit is generated wherever work is done. So until you and I start to generate profits, until you and I start to communicate with the blockchain, then the profits is not going to grow up until that moment. But if you and I have noticed that we have a lot of tokens that are appearing in our blockchain, let's go into the tokens tab, and we'll see that it's not one, but almost 10 projects across the blockchain that are having their own emission of tokens. And when this story is going to work, royalty for each user, even for those that do nothing. I mean, of course. There are users that use the network, that are connecting with it, and there are investors that don't need it. So in this case, for investors, for users, whoever is running the Relictum Pro blockchain daily, you will be receiving profits that will be generated by these products that have been emitted in our blockchain. So how do you buy tokens? You go into Relictum Pro, register, go into your personal account, indicate the necessary amount of tokens, for example, 1 million tokens, and select the means of payment that you prefer and make it. So you can look at take a look at the transactions as per the node ID. You're saying that this is like the number of a wallet in Ethereum. Yes, I did say that. And at this particular moment, the search by ID is not yet implemented, but we plan to. But I have sent them this request into the tech support team today, so this should be fixed, and this should be implemented. Next, USDT is number 1 in terms of the trade volume. So how is RLC different from USDT? Listen, first of all, as simple as it is, but USDT is a
Relictum
stable token.
либо монета,
So a Relictum token they have different parents, right? And the second, RLC is a native coin of the ecosystem, just like in Ethereum. The native coin is Ethereum.
USDT, насколько я понимаю, это
So USDT is a centralized campaign which is called Tether Limited, and which in turn
представляет собой, скажем так, цифровой доллар.
Represents a digital dollar. A Relictum Pro is a digital currency. It's a cryptocurrency which is also valued at $1, but it doesn't have anything similar with Tether. Tether is an instrument which is created for speculation, so it's not a secret that when the Bitcoin rate grows, everybody leaves Tether. When the Bitcoin drops, people buy Tether. So a Tether is a coin that makes the life of cryptocurrencies into fiat currencies simpler. What else can I mention? The trade volumes, yes, of course, Tether is number one. Now the difference is, of course, as I say, for us, it's not a token, it's a coin. It's a bit different. And the second one, all of our ecosystem is built on the Relict coin plate. And, right, how do I think I answered all of the questions right now, right? I think this is it. I have spoken about everything. I have shown you everything. If you have any more questions, I will answer, but I believe that there are no more questions. So please allow me to say that our next webinar will take place on Monday. If there are any changes, we will absolutely inform you of it. And thank you. And we will also announce the topic of the next webinar in the few following days. This is it from me. I have spoken about everything that I wanted to say. I would like to wish you a good evening. And I'm showing you our quick video, and see you next week.
Modern blockchain platforms have several significant drawbacks, manifesting themselves in problems with scaling and low productivity. We present to you the revolutionary Relictum blockchain. It is a decentralized platform of the new generation with distributed storage, 100% reliable, and secure electronic data turnover system. This blockchain platform is designed to formalize and keep records of any events in various spheres of human activity, for the public sector, for the banking system, for private business, as well as for individuals. Relictum blockchain is a scalable, hyper-modern solution with a vision of the distant future, the blockchain of a new generation with the broadest application in various fields. Relictum blockchain opens up a new generation of blockchain 5.0 with clear, distinctive features and advantages. Network bandwidth, more than 1 million transactions per second. The result showed in testnet is 100,000 transactions per second. The size of a single block is 120 bytes, which is 8,000 times smaller than the size of a Bitcoin block. The time to fill the entire network with blocks at each node is from 0.5 to 1 second. Security, reliability, and stability of the network are provided by isolation from the general segment of the Internet, where we use a new type of network, Hypernet, as a transport network. The amount of possible new embedded smart contacts is unlimited in number and time. There is the possibility to integrate third-party accounting systems and documentation into our platform, solving the problems of existing platforms and having the most advanced parameters. Relictum blockchain can solve problems on a global economic scale, making our life simpler, more comfortable, and safe, making processes transparent and honest.